The movie is Delivery Man, opens in theaters this Friday. Vince Vaughn back on the program. What's the movie that you watched maybe as a kid that said to you, you know what, maybe I want to be an actor when I grow up?
You know, it's funny. I used to watch a lot of films with my dad, and mainly Westerns, because he loved Westerns. So I would watch movies with him, and I think he liked the movie so much, and it was something that we could kind of joke and laugh about and talk about, that maybe that was my way in. I never gave it a lot of thought, but it was something to do with my father, yeah.
You ever been in a Western?
You know, I was once. A friend of mine, Dwight Yoakam, directed a Western, kind of a small independent film, and I did a part in that with him years and years and years ago.
But you haven't been a superhero either, have you? Like the Green Lantern or any of that stuff? Have you been offered Batman?
You know, I know it sounds shocking to say no, but I have not, Dan.
Well, that's why I'm surprised.
That's right. You know, it's funny. I had been approached a couple times about different kind of comic book heroes and stuff, but I didn't at the time. It wasn't something that I was passionate about, as you would say.
Well, you're tall and rangy, and I would think that would probably make
I'm a tall, rangy gentleman, that's right, and I could have a superpower.
Do you?
Do I have a superpower? I don't know if I have a superpower, no. I do have, I think one thing I've had is the ability to laugh at life and myself included, to have a sense of humor about things, and that's always served me well.
Does being a Cub fan help your sense of humor?
Geez, you're not kidding. It's it is a bit painful, but I guess they hired a new manager, so hopefully that will be the spark that ignites us to break this 100+ losing streak.
It was a few years ago when you guys got Jay Cutler, and I remember doing an interview with you, and I said, "Hey, you got your quarterback," and you said it was like Christmas. What's it feel like now?
Well, I think what happened is I think you said that you talked to another actor who said it was Christmas, who was excited. I think you said that Ashton said that he was really excited about it. And, you know, I was obviously enthusiastic because you had a guy that, you know, has a lot of talent coming into the team, for sure. But, you know, look, we haven't gotten to where we want to get to, so that's been difficult. And the only exciting thing is that we're in the playoff race this time of year, which is good. And, you know, it's tough because the defense this year hasn't been what we're used to. Lovey's gone. Urlacher's gone. The offense does seem to be doing a little bit better. And just, you know, hope you can get it going on both sides of the ball.
How many jerseys do you have?
I have a few. I do have a few jerseys.
Like those you wear and those that are framed?
I have, I mainly that I wear, but I have a lot of jerseys. I like the sports memorabilia, and so I like to have a jersey.
Coolest thing you have? Sports memorabilia.
Sports memorabilia. Coolest thing that I have. A Stanley Cup ring.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Blackhawks were very nice in the 2010 campaign. They included me in the World Championship, and that was very nice.
I watched most of the games. I didn't see you play.
You know, it's funny. I didn't necessarily get on the ice.
Oh, you didn't?
But no, I did not get on the ice, and that's what I was most proud of, Dan. As younger, I was told that without discipline and without a work ethic, and I had to hustle. I proved them all wrong. I didn't have to do any of that.
What kind of hockey player would you be?
I showed those coaches younger.
Yes,
they
you did.
Told me you're never going to compete at a high level. You're never going to win anything unless we are the first one there and the last one to leave. Well, guess what?
What kind of hockey player would you make?
You know, I never really played hockey too much. You know, I like playing sports. I did play sports. I played some sports in high school, and you know, for me, it was fun. And I enjoyed it. But I knew at a young age, I had some kids that I played with that played Division I basketball years later. Bob Pelinka was in my grade, who, obviously played for Michigan. And the Bennis brothers were in my high school, who were pitchers. So you could tell at a young age, it's time for Mr. Vaughn to try to make some jokes. There was definitely a level of skill that was required for the next level that I did not necessarily possess then.
He's Vince Vaughn the actor, former athlete, and the movie is Delivery Man, opens nationwide on Friday. Do you, now, I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard that you're not necessarily playing you. What does that mean?
The movie's really fun. I mean, the movie's about a guy that kind of does something that most people do recreationally, and he kind of donates to a fertility clinic. And years later, that they kind of overuse his stuff, if you will. And then there's about 533 kids who want to know who their father is. And I think what's great about the film, the director is really a talented filmmaker, and the movie's very funny, and it kind of has a big idea that gets there in a non-syrupy way. But the movie's also kind of got some really kind of moving moments, and you laugh a lot. It's very unpredictable, but the movie's really about kind of unapologetically, from a guy's point of view, about becoming a dad, and not in a kind of obvious way. So it's really about what it means to be a father from a male point of view.
And you're a method actor, so how did you prepare for the sperm donor role?
Dan, thank you for asking that. And thankfully, that's something I had prepared for all my life. So I didn't have to overly kind of concentrate in the months leading up to it. I had some memories to draw back on.
Well, it had to be draining.
Correct.
Yeah.
Lots of fluids in preparation. I could never be more than 3 feet from any type of water. Sparkling, flat, it didn't matter.
By the way, Ron Burgundy's coming into the man cave, I think, in a couple of weeks. Anything?
I like that.
Should I be prepared for anything when Ron Burgundy comes to town?
I think I think we all know who Ron Burgundy is, and I think that the thing to do is to celebrate that gentleman.
What's your, now I know you have a role in Anchorman 2. Do you want to give me any insights here?
Well, in Anchorman 1, I play the character of Wes Mantooth, and in the second one here, it's safe to say that Mr. Mantooth will show up on this journey.
Is this like Godfather 2?
Not as a sperm donor.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
But just as not in this one, no.
But it's like Godfather 2, right? It's a little bit deeper, a little more intense?
I haven't seen the final cut, but I can only imagine. I think from the stuff I was there, they were shooting was really fun.
Well, good luck with this. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell me about?
That's it. What's your predictions? Just curious going forward for this BCS. How do you think it pans out?
Well, I think Auburn has a very good chance of beating Alabama, and wouldn't that throw it into chaos? Florida State, I think I think they're very, very, very good. And so Florida State's going to, they're going to play for the national title. Are you a Ohio State fan?
I do like the Buckeyes. Yes, my father being from, as you know, grew up in Zanesville and on a family there. And I love Urban Meyer. I think he's a great coach. And I think they can run the table too. I think who do they play? Michigan State now in the Big Ten championship. Yeah,
I think the lack of a imposing schedule is going to hurt them, because if Baylor runs the table, Baylor will leapfrog them, and then you still have Florida State and Alabama.
Baylor's got a test this week.
Yeah,
with
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, but next year this will be more easily resolved. Next year we'll put 4 of them in there, right?
Do you like the playoff, the 4 teams?
I like the concept of it, right. I think, what is it? You have to go undefeated and you go. I think that, it's how you finish the year. So I think, there's a lot of teams like this year. But by the way, we always end up in this place where we start making the arguments and then somebody loses. I bet more of these teams will lose than we expect. You don't expect them to lose at this point, but you never know. So especially when you start playing teams that you play year in and year out, even a team that's struggling. So you don't know. But I like the concept of a playoff. I think it's good. I think it's good for the sport. And I think it's a better way to, really kind of through competition say who was the champion. Where do you come out on that?
I like it. I just, what I'm worried about, Vince, is we go from 4 teams, then to 8, and then somebody's going to go, why don't we go to 16? I like an exclusive category. I like that there's only 4 teams. I don't need to have more. The NCAA tournament, there's too many teams. It's hard not to make the NCAA tournament now.
I don't disagree, except don't you love it when one of these smaller schools or a school that just got in kind of catches fire and does well? I think there's something great about that. And if you look at Division III and II, they've had a playoff forever.
Oh, I love that, but I just get worried, though, that that everybody gets greedy. I still like that it's really hard to get into a playoff, and then there's, I agree.
That part I agree with. I feel that you have to have you have to have a strong resume from the season. You have to, if you're going to play that many games, it has to count and add to something. So I agree with that. But that being said, I do feel, to have some tournament for those teams is a good thing.
But it's like when the Academy Awards went from 5 movies to 10 movies. That's too many, isn't it?
Well, you're right. That might have been to increase an audience. Who knows? But I think there's something different with awards where it's kind of subjective, and it can be, not that the polls and this stuff you can't say that's political. It is, but I think the difference with sports is that if they play each other in a true competition, then you're really kind of resolving it in a way. It's not a popularity contest at that point. But that's what's good, I think, about including a couple more that could be in the conversation. 4 teams would be good this year, given how everything is played out.
Before I let you go, do you have an Academy Awards speech written for one day?
I haven't had that quiet moment yet, Dan, to sit down and collect my emotions in the appropriate manner to prepare for that. But maybe this will be that spark that lights that flame.
Okay. Well, good luck with delivery, man, as always. And thanks for joining us.
Always good talking to you, Tom.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.